So before I get started, I just want to show you guys that I am outside. That is the reason for any wind or birds you might hear. This post was in the Christian marriage subreddit from a few days ago. She says, "My husband cheated on me." She said, "Last week I found out that my husband has been cheating on me for about 6 months. He's been messaging multiple other women and sending them inappropriate photos of himself to them. He even went as far as to meet up with random girls for X that he doesn't even know on multiple occasions. I have decided for right now to stay with him and work things out. He is going to be getting counseling from a lady in our church that has counseled me before and knows me very well. I have full access to all his electronics, know all of his passwords, and track his location. I can tell he genuinely feels remorse, but the fact that it happened at all has killed me. I don't know if staying with him is the right thing to do since he's hurt me so bad, but I also know that it may not hurt this bad forever. I guess I just need advice or encouragement for women who have gone through this and stayed. In most cases, people would seek divorce without another thought, but I feel like I should at least try to make it work, especially since my husband is so eager to make things right with me and with God, and has done everything I've asked him to since I found out in order for me to feel comfortable and build trust again. I feel like the most hurtful thing is we haven't even been married a year." She is putting up with this after not even being married for 1 year. He knows that all he has to do is be apologetic. And this man is giving her full access to all of his electronics and his passwords or whatnot. But that doesn't mean that a person, once she gets comfortable with him again, like he can't go out and get a burner phone or a secondary phone. This woman is accepting this. He's been cheating on her for 6 months. They haven't been married a year. I guess he needs someone in the home to make a comfortable home so that he has the energy to go out and cheat and do what he wants to with all of these other women. I am cheating for me was a red line. It is a red line that people can't come back to it, because cheating is not just the simple act. Cheating is multiple lies strung together to pull off that act. So it's an absolute no for me. And sending them to Christian counseling, it's a hard no for me. But I do want you all to weigh in. Jake the Whale says, "I'm praying for you. Your faithfulness to God and your spouse by pursuing reconciliation is admirable. If your husband is truly willing, your marriage can be restored." What I don't understand about these Christians and this Christian marriage, if they are really serving a loving God, why would their loving God send them such a terrible spouse? And why do you think that you deserve to be with a terrible spouse? Initial client says, "Hi, I just wanted to offer support because my husband cheated on me early in our marriage about 9 years ago. After that, my husband got sober and was saved by the Lord and has been a truly amazing and incredible husband and father for the last 9 years. He is a completely different person than the one I married. I am grateful every day that God gave me strength to reconcile my marriage, because I would have missed out on such a beautiful life that glorifies him every day. But I know it's so hard for you right now." I Am Townsend says, "I will say a couple of things after being married for 24 years. When trust is broken, it's very hard to repair. So hard, in fact, even Jesus allows adultery to be a caveat for divorce. So that means it depends on what adultery is. Of course, he is eager to work it out. He doesn't want it to come out that he did these things. He has himself to save, you to calm down, and for the whole thing to go away so he can. Hide it harder." Yes, hide it harder. There is a reason he did it. No, I'm not victim blaming or shaming. He is needing something or wanting something he isn't getting. That doesn't mean you have to provide whatever it is. It just means that you need to be partnered with someone like that. I can already tell you deserve better. Life is long. Anything that is a quirk now will be irritating years from now. He is not taking marriage seriously. most young people don't. They think you are just dating for the rest of your life. No. Marriage is an extreme partnership where you rely on each other in the deepest of trust agreements in mind and body and spirit. That is not dating exclusively. Too many people get married because it seems to be the thing to do. This will be the easiest time to take a break or separate before you invest kids, money, and property into this marriage. And all this said, it will only get bitter or better. And if you let things coast, like everything that coasts, it heads downhill. That person gave a really expanded set of comments, and yeah, I like it. I like where this person said hide it harder, because that's what a liar will do. Real Talk Fast Walk says, glad to hear you and he are each getting immediate counsel. The book Unwanted, How Actual Brokenness Reveals Our Way to Healing, was a very important read for both my husband and myself to explore and understand the history and lies that led to his destructive actual patterns. The book Happily After Hour by if you want to read these books, you can, but for me, I want to know your stance on it. Cheating for me is a hard no. I believe that we deserve better, and if these spouses that know that cheating is a hard no still take all of the steps to do it, if they choose to do it, that's on them. And that's, if you choose to accept it, that's on you. Weigh in, let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. So we got an Am I the A-hole post. Now, it looks like she must have deleted her page because the post is still there. She says, am I the a-hole for blindsiding my ex-boyfriend by breaking up with him and canceling our apartment? I'm just curious if I'm the a-hole for this. It's already been done, and I've broken up with him. She says, I, 28-year-old woman, was a customer success manager for a smaller tech company. The company had been doing okay, but had decreased profits by 2% this year, rather than increasing it double digits year after year. So half of my team got laid off, as we were expenses. I'm still salty because the C-suite still got huge bonuses and it never affected them, but they cut about 16% of the company to streamline. I got laid off with 3 months severance, as I had been there for 3 years. I got the news Monday morning and told my boyfriend when he got home, as I didn't want to stress him out. The second I did, he didn't comfort me or anything. He just said, well, you better find another job quick because you need to pay your share of the rent. I had been paying 60% of the rent since I made more. I was so shocked that I went to our bedroom and cried, and he didn't talk to me for the rest of the evening. I was so stressed out for the rest of that week, and he just seemed unbothered, except to remind me I didn't have a job, so I shouldn't have gotten takeout. I told him that my company gave me 3 months separation until it came. I hadn't told him my company gave me 3 months separation until it came a week later. And then he relaxed and said, I had 3 months, so I had some time, but I need to find a job so he doesn't have to pay rent. By the way, I've covered partial rent twice for him because he has emergencies. I was just in shock at his treatment. I didn't say anything, but I resolved to break up with him as soon as our lease was up. I did work extremely hard to find a new job, and last week just started at a similar role. Then I told my boyfriend and the landlord I was ending the lease August 31st. He has from now till then to leave, and since there is no way for him to afford pretty much any place himself, he argued that I blindsided him. When I brought up his behavior when I was laid off, he argued he was scared to be stuck with the rent since he can't afford it, and I should have told him so he could have made me feel better. This is what I'm talking about. Why do you have to be Captain Obvious with these multilogical leaders? Okay, I told him the second he behaved that way, it was too late. My mom divorced my dad after he was cold to her after her cancer diagnosis. I used to feel like she was acting too hastily, but now I understand because that second he acted that way, I lost all my attraction for him. I've been looking at studio apartments, and my boyfriend has no choice but to go home to his parents until he can afford to move back out. He has been telling everyone I blindsided him, and I wonder if I did. He claims I should have broken up with him 3 months ago, and I lied to him that we were still in a relationship when I had mentally checked out. I have had a friend tell me I was too hard on him, and people act badly in stressful situations, and we've been together for 3 years, and it would be a pity to end the relationship. These so-called friends need to stop trying to make people stay together that shouldn't be together. If you are in your worst time, you need support. You just got laid off, whatever. You need somebody that is going to actually support you. Relationships are more than just a physical presence of somebody. It's mutual support for that person. What is the purpose in being in a relationship if they are not supporting you when you are down? And they're there when you're on the top, but they're not there when you're on the bottom. Absolutely not. You are not the a-hole. Gigi Lily says, good for you. He definitely didn't like you for you. He liked you because you helped subsidize his move out of his parents' house. The minute he said, you better get a job quick without even asking you if you were okay, yuck. And the continuing with that behavior, anyone who says you were hasty can room with him and pick up the slack of covering for a grown man who doesn't have the decency to be kind, wishing you better things in the future and that things get easier. Brindle Fly says, one of the advantages of living together is you often get to know other dimensions of your partner that don't come out through regular dating. Some of the things you learn may be yellow flags, and others could be red flags. How someone treats you in good and bad times is everything in a long-term relationship, and failure here is a bright red flag. Don't fall prey to the sunk cost fallacy. This is unacceptable behavior in any relationship. Just be thankful you learned now before you made a bigger commitment. Move on and find a better person. No Blacksmith says, I have always been a firm believer that couples need to be put through stressful situations together before marriage to see their true mettle. Thankfully, OP got to see it before it was too late. Their reaction in a stressful situation is not an excuse for bad behavior. It is a spotlight on who they are when you need them most, and clearly compassion and support had never occurred to the partner. Only selfish panic at how this would affect them. OP should be grateful as hell that she can escape before things were more financially tied. I think it was smart to wait till she was stable, very rational, and if the boyfriend didn't feel something was off, it had nothing to do with the OP and everything to do with how self-absorbed they were to notice. Blue Fleetwood says, all of this, you are well rid of that selfish loser, and anyone who tries to tell you otherwise is an idiot. Good for you, not the a-hole. This person agrees. He was clearly more focused on the rent than supporting you. Absolutely. Okay, we're starting to get to a man that is feeling some type of way about this because he did something similar, I think. So this person says, your ex is missing an empathy bone. Sounds like he only cares about things as to how they affect him. And this person says, not the a-hole OP. I'm a man and his action disgusts me. No way a man would abandon a woman he loves like that. You made the correct decision. He is an a-hole. Now, this person, he's like, where the F did he abandon her? So this man is starting to take exception to all this. Okay, when your significant other is down and helpless, in this case losing her job, it is your duty to support him or her. His reaction when she lost her job is just to force her to make sure she paid her rent instead of supporting her and working things out together. He also warned her not to order takeout. It is downright bullying. I wouldn't even do it to my friends, let alone my loved one, my girlfriend or wife. That reaction is emotional abandonment, and she is right to leave him. If I were in his position, my first reaction would be to offer condolences, assure her that she can get a better job than the previous job, and discuss with her if she needs help in paying her share of the rent while she is jobless. Now this person at the bottom is still taking even more exception. He says, oh, okay, so now it's bullying and abandonment. He was insensitive and stressed because he thought they would not be able to afford to live together. But this is abandonment and bullying? Jesus wept. Sure, call him an insensitive a-hole, but please can we park the ridiculous hyperbole? Edit. And I love the what I would do as you sip your coffee calmly typing on your screen. No threat to your relationship or your living circumstances. Okay, so this part is still the person that is feeling some type of way. He says, I have been in that position and my wife did panic and I did respond like this. She was worried about what the hell we do. It was her first reaction. We both cried. We figured it out after the panic feeling settled the next day. But the difference is this man continued this behavior for a week and still didn't settle in and offer any kind of support. This man is feeling some type of way about this situation because he must have dropped the ball where it came to supporting his spouse. Anyways, y'all join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. So a few days ago, I did this story, this true off my chest story, where this man supposedly left his wife because he got hit on for the first time. Now, all of us just thought that this was fiction, and now there is an update, so I'm going to read it. You guys weigh in on if you think it's fiction or not. I haven't read this all the way through, so we're going to be reading this together. She said, or he or she says, update. My husband just left me because he's been hit on by a woman for the first time in his life. A couple of days ago, I posted here about my husband suddenly leaving me because of, well, having experienced for the first time that a woman actually showed active interest in him. Since links are not allowed in this subreddit, please check my profile for my post history. Yesterday, my husband and I met for the first time since he up and left last Friday. And frankly, after the meetup, I was very shaken. So it took me until today to be able to write about this. Since so many people have reached out to me with helpful comments and all, I think you deserve an update. But I wasn't up to it yesterday. Also, this is really long, so in advance, so sorry in advance. There's just so much to cope with. So here we go. The whole part of so much to cope with, men really think that women be out here just coping. That's why they say stuff like cope harder. But anyway, so here we go. The situation felt awkward, and I got the impression the whole time that he genuinely feels sorry for how things were and that what he is doing hurts me. I know many of you said he's a douche, a cheater, and whatnot, and I really, really understand and are mad at him myself. But on the other hand, you all do not know him like I do. He is a very honest person. He despises lying and is really bad at this. He carries his heart on his tongue, and I know him very well to sense his feelings. Did that help me? Not much. Now, even if I wish, I couldn't paraphrase our talk, and I'm sure I will miss certain things. And overall, it was a mixture of him telling me and asking me questions. And all of this is a big flurry in my head, so I'll just summarize, I guess. First, he told me that he really, really loved me, and he still does, but he feels that his feelings for the new woman are stronger. He told me her name. Let's call her Jasmine, not her real name. He admits Jasmine is gorgeous, but claims that that on its own is no way relevant for his decision. Yeah, right. He told me that she originally approached him because of a book he was reading during lunch. Supposedly, the book's author is her uncle, and she was able to tell my husband some funny stories about the time her uncle drafted that book. He says he and Jasmine have very similar interests. Jasmine also reads sci-fi as he does because of said uncle, who is a sci-fi author, and both like gaming and stuff. He says after they exchanged numbers, they initially only wrote about stuff like that. And later on, they talked about other hobbies and interests and found more and more common ground, as he put it. He also admitted that like 2 weeks or so ago, he started to wonder if he should actively tell me about her, seeing how she turned from an acquaintance to what he deems a friend. I interjected that they don't even know each other long enough to consider her a friend, but he says he feels Jasmine is really genuine with him. This is a man who cannot pick up social clues unless they are spelled out for him, but whatever. He also feels a lot more in tune with Jasmine than he does with me. Admittedly, we seem to have less common interests, but I never felt I have to be exactly like my partner. Opposites can complement each other well, and always felt we do. Well, looks like he feels much happier with someone catering to his interests a lot more. He also became a bit self-critical then. He says after he left for his friend's place, he sat down and reread his conversation history with Jasmine, and he realized that she had indeed been flirting with him before she told him she wanted more. It didn't start out flirtatious, but he admits he totally missed that part. He opened up the app on his phone and showed me the beginning when she started flirting. He might have tuned out the messages, but at least the beginning was really ready, friendly. The flirtatious parts, however, were blatantly obvious in my eyes. He actually blames himself for that and says that while that doesn't change his feelings for her, it means he should have noticed this earlier and said, he said, make the decision to pursue her earlier. That sort of broke me, and I started sobbing because it sounds as if I never had a chance compared to Jasmine. He even wanted to console me, and I allowed that for a couple of minutes, but then I sought some distance again. It both felt good and bad to be in his arms. Then it was time to ask me why, to ask me why is she so attractive to him that he leaves me, his wife, for just the mere possibility of being with another woman. I mentioned that someone, I didn't say Reddit, suggested she might be a scam or just interested in breaking up marriages and going after men who are taken and such. He, of course, vehemently denied that. Supposedly, they met last Sunday to go out for dinner, and they talked about the fact that she approached him even though he is married, and she claims to have a really bad conscience about this and that she never would have done it had she not felt such a deep connection between them. Blah, blah, blah. I must admit, I really struggled through that part because if it is true, it hurts me. And if it isn't, it hurts even more that he falls for the BS. He then told me in excruciating detail about his dating life and how long he was a virgin and how he was always treated by girls back in middle school and high school and by the women in college, and later on how he feels that he always has to be the one initiating, fighting even for a chance, and felt like he was always treated as unworthy by almost all women, and how that made him bitter. He admitted that, but also how he always thought that someone who truly fits his personality, his character, his being, would be someone who would not make him jump through hoops, someone who'd outright tell him she is intrigued by him and wants him. He says he loves me dearly and was always very grateful for being with me. But even with me, he always felt somewhere between a beggar and the subject of a pity party, where I bestowed the grace of my companionship on him instead of actually liking him and wanting him. When I asked him whether that means he settled for me, he vehemently denied that. He said that when we started to date, I really treated him better than any woman had done before. So he really thought this was what he had been looking for. And before meeting Jasmine, he had never felt like he needed more. This is a long fictional story. This is wild. I, of course, tried to tell him that I was not with him out of pity or anything, and I explained why I made him wait 3 months, and why I think the man should court the woman, and so forth. And then I also admitted that I might not have given him the appreciation he deserved. This time, it actually was his turn to drop tears for a bit. He said that hearing that made him both grateful and unhappy that he never really communicated better about this. I told him that hearing him say that feels like he is putting the blame on me, and I swear to God, his eyes looked like they doubled their size, and he looked genuinely shocked. And he apologized many times and said he did not want me to think he actually has any bad feelings about having to wait back then, and that this is a situation where no one is to blame, but especially not me. He says, I have been a wonderful wife and all, but that with Jasmine, it just feels different, and like a deeper connection that the two of us have, and that while he thought I was wonderful, he now realizes that what he really was looking for in life was something else. He says reconciliation is not really an option because he realized that we're not right for each other. And even if it doesn't work out with Jasmine, he knows now that what he actually needs, something that I just am not I'm sorry. I mentioned marriage counseling, and he said that it's not like our marriage has issues, but that the issue is that we're just not right for each other. There were more things we said, and maybe I'll add some later, but right now I'm too mentally exhausted, especially because I still don't feel like I can hate him because he felt so freaking honest. I think he at least truly believes all the things he said, but that woman still might be a total liar or a scam. He at least promised to be careful with her financial wise, but he assured me that she is not. I don't know what to make of any of this. It hurts. I guess my marriage is over. I don't know if AI generated that or what, but that was super duper long. Y'all weigh in. Do you believe that this was real? Make sure you comment, like, and share.